Hello, this is my extra credit point for Module 4, Chapter 11, and I will be answering number 17. So to start out, I will read the problem, which is related to multiple sclerosis and vitamin D. So multiple sclerosis, or MS, is an autoimmune disease that strikes more often the further people live from the equator. Could vitamin D, which most people get from the sun's ultraviolet rays, be a factor? Researchers compared vitamin D levels in blood samples from 150 U.S. military personnel who have developed MS with blood samples of nearly 300 who have not. The samples were taken, on average, 5 years before the disease was diagnosed. Those with the highest blood vitamin D levels had a 62% lower risk of MS than those with the lowest levels. And then in parentheses it says the link was only in whites, not in blacks or Hispanics. So the first question they want to know is, what kind of study was this? And I answered, this was a retrospective observational study, which is an observational study in which subjects are selected and then their previous conditions or behaviors are determined. So as you can see, the 150 U.S. military personnel were selected and kind of like looking back at their previous conditions or behaviors. And then for B, is that an appropriate choice for investigating this problem? And then explain. And then I said, yes, it's appropriate because MS is a relatively rare disease that isn't very common in most people. And then for C, who were the subjects? And I answered the subjects were the U.S. military personnel, some of whom did end up developing MS. And then for D, what were the variables? The variables were vitamin D, blood levels, and whether or not the subject developed MS. And then if you need more information on what a retrospective observational study is or different variables, reviewing Chapter 11 would be a good idea. Thanks.